I'm not here to fake it. This is real life, raw moments, and full vibes. From wild adventures to everyday chaos, FUMA Boy'Z is where energy meets authenticity. Hit subscribe, and let's live this out loud.
All right, everybody. So welcome to another episode of FUMA Boy'Z. Tonight, we're doing it a little different. We have a special guest. So we got two people right now. They'll start piling in. But tonight, everybody, I'm going to introduce to you Brooke Odyssey.
Hello.
So we'll give a shout out to the chat. We got DCA Dave out there right now. We got a couple people out there piling in here. I'm going to add the comments to the screen so you can see them if you like.
Okay.
So Brooke, usually what we do on the show, we'll share the charts. We'll look a couple things over. But tonight's going to be a little different, Brooke. We want to know about you. What's going on, Con? So, without further ado, Brooke Odyssey, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, it's Brooke Odyssey, and my main page and area and content is over on TikTok. And I started over there around in 2021, I believe. It's been that long. And in crypto years, that's quite a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And so that came after I actually found XRP and really did the research and dug deep. And I've never stopped since. It became an obsession. A little bit of a background for you is my background is in banking and finance, and
Hold on one second. Say that again for the people out there, just so y'all know who to listen to out here. Please tell us again about your background.
My background's in banking and finance. Right now, I stay at home on a farm with my family, and we homestead. And then that's a fun life, and it's a part of the story, actually. So back in 2008, when I was in my undergrad, that's when the great financial crisis was happening. And I'd already been working in banking for a number of years at that point. And
what type of bank? What banking were you working?
Small community banking really is where my heart is.
Nice. Like the union banks, or what are they called?
So county banks.
Okay.
Nice. So that's where I got my start. And then once I moved to the city, it was more commercial. And so I've worn a bunch of hats in the banking world, but I really became obsessed with finance and global finance and how it all works in 2008 in my undergrad. And I was actually it was in my economics class, and this disaster is happening in global financial markets. And our professor was the state of Oklahoma's treasurer at the time. And he posed the question to the class, should we bail out the banks? And everyone in the class raised their hand. We should. This is a crisis. Oh no, everyone's going to go broke. Well, we just got done reading Adam Smith, which is free market, laissez-faire. And they made bad choices. Capitalism too demands that whenever bad players, sorry, you got to get flushed out. And so so I just became obsessed with learning what went wrong, what happened. And so that has been about, over 15 years of study. And so when you study money, because a lot of people, they just think that money is what it is. I get cash, I have the stuff at the bank. People don't realize that there's a whole science of money. There's a whole physics with money. And the type of money that we have, there's a history behind that. The inflation that people are feeling, and this is really where I get passionate, the inflation that people are feeling right now is because it's not because of capitalism. It's not because of any other stupid professor. Sorry. And I will say that a lot of economic, especially your PhD economists, they will blame
in the economy in any type of way. There's a lot of theories going on here. Sorry.
That's true. So the reason why you're feeling the way that you're feeling today is because of fiat currency. That is, it's money because we say it's money. We print it out of thin air. Your money is literally debt. Well, the good book says the debtor is always slave to the lender. Yep. So when your money is based off of debt, what does that make you? Debt slaves.
Yep.
The debtor is always slave to the lender. And so as they're printing money, and if you're holding cash in debt, your purchasing power goes down, your wealth goes down. As then things are getting more expensive, like assets go up. Well, the rich don't own cash and liabilities, they own assets. So you have richer getting richer and poorer getting poorer because of this money physics.
You know what's interesting is how schools teach the normal person about money. They say, hey, you need to go to college, or like, let's start out in high school, go to high school, go to college, get this degree. And don't get me wrong, I've got 3 degrees. And then it's like, go work for a company and save this money, right? Save this capital. Put it in the 401k. They never tell you buy metals.
No.
They're definitely not saying buy a digital currency, something that's traded globally.
No. And so we can talk about that. So there is a direct interest on our education system having us not understand our money and banking, because if the average citizen did understand it, this is even quoted, and the person leaves my head, but you can check the quote. It's quoted that if the masses knew how banking worked, there'd be a revolution by tomorrow. And that is so true, even more true whenever you consider fiat currency. And so, yeah, it is now my opinion, after trying to get to people to see what's happening, the gap, and I think it is intended that our education system does not want us to know this information.
Yeah. So do you think it's because of the fractional banking that's going on, that they really don't want everybody to know, like, hey, you put in $9 or you put your 10 out, and they've kind of lent it out a couple times?
Well, the fractional, yeah, if people knew that part, right? That whenever you deposit your money into the bank, it is not your money anymore. It is their money. And check me on that. I mean, legally.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's legally their money.
So do you think this is why the banks have been pushing back against the Senate right now about, like, hey, if you allow these people to, they're saying it's bank flight. I think personally it's like, hey, you taking your money, putting it into USDC or maybe a Tether if that's your thing, and holding in cold storage, right? And you're not participating in the mainstream system. You think that's part of the reason why they're pushing it?
Oh yeah, they're terrified. Think about, this totally upends their entire model of, that's why they crushed the stablecoin legislation to have yield on it, because they said it themselves. If we allow them to have this capability, then there's going to be a deposit exodus. So we're competition with them. What people, then the track that a lot of people don't see in banking, banks will ultimately start to issue their own stable coins.
So I got a question. So I get it. They crush stable coins, maybe for Coinbase or your centralized exchanges. How are they going to deal with it on decentralized exchanges? It's not like they can just block Miss Brooke Odyssey or FUMA Boy'Z, from doing this. How do they intend to deal with that?
So there is a certain capture that is happening on the stablecoin level, and there will be a KYC legal element that if any one of these projects want to keep functioning, they will have to adhere to, or a lot of these DeFi crypto projects will not make it, or they will be illegal, or if you do use them, you can get in very serious trouble. That's where we're going to. It's a regulated finance. And I can go through this on a very deep level, the greater play on stable coins. So, okay, when I started getting my start in like voicing what's going to happen, I said, okay, so that jam's getting, I'm like listening to it. Sorry.
I know, man. Hold on, I gotta say it. Shout out to Romeo, man. Brooke, he's got some crazy background music. I'll switch it up when you're ready. When you're like, hey, FUMA, switch that up. I'll switch it up for you.
You're good. I get distracted by it because I keep
Let me turn it off
to it. A little bit quieter because I keep listening to it. And I have my ADHD is like letting, and I'm musically inclined. And
really?
So,
hold on. I hate to stop the conversation. What do you play? What instruments do you play?
Nothing. I sing.
Oh, y'all, Brooke's gonna sing for us tonight.
We're not.
Okay, maybe not. We'll see. Maybe she gets comfortable. She'll be like, all right, I'll hit a tune for you. Hey, keep rocking. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. So this kind of ties back to how I got my start in talking about stable coins and where that's all going. We are going through a financial monetary shift.
Huge.
It is the biggest thing of our lifetime. And so many people are missing it. The powers that be, have been planning it for decades. And when I found XRP, it was Rosie Rios. When I was looking, I had a friend who was also in banking, pretty high up, and he was mining Ethereum. And I'm like, I need to figure this out. And I'm not going to criticize something that I don't understand. I understand money. And I'm going to take a look at this. And so going through it, I'm finding a bunch of pump and dumps and stuff. And then I find Rosie Rios, who's talking about XRP. And I'm a money nerd. So of course I knew who Rosie Rios was. And for people who don't know, she was the former treasurer of the United States under Barack Obama. If you look at your cash, her name is probably written on it. I actually have a dollar bill with her name on it, and she signed the top of it for me. So whenever I listened to her and she said, money is going digital, money is changing, I go, that sister knows so much more than I know about money. And that is a big statement. That's a big statement to make. What does she mean by that? And so therefore I went and studied XRP and I was like, oh my goodness. And so from there, I go, how would something like this get rolled out? Because Americans especially aren't going to willy-nilly jump on to one of these things. And so, of course, right? So, of course, we had just come out of the 2020. And I watched that from my farm and the amount of money that we had spent and understanding currency and money, inflation, how it works. I'm like, we're going to have massive inflation. And so, but I can also see a financial collapse, and that typically happens around like World War II was another one of these events. And what came out of World War II was Bretton Woods, a new system of money, which actually raised America to be the pinnacle of the world. Like we became the leader of that world order. Well, before anyone was really invading anyone, I said, I believe we're going to be headed into a global conflict. And on the other end of this, the real use case, that will be what launches the adoption and real use case. And I said that and started to channel because I was trying to tell people, go look at it, go like see what's happening. No one would listen. So I started a channel to document this. Unfortunately, here's the part. And I wanted to be wrong. I do not want global war. I really like the 90s too. Okay, I feel like if we could have paused time in the 90s, I'd be good. So I'm not gleeful that this is happening. On an academic level, this is fascinating to me that this is happening. And the fact that so many calls are currently happening hand over fist. And so we are right in the middle of this transition. I'm watching the bond market go nuts. I'm watching treasuries get offloaded onto the market between China and Japan. I'm watching reverse carry trade getting triggered, especially with oil. And you know, Jay Claver, we both listened to, I know he has the domino theory based off the reverse carry trade.
Just so you know, we rock with Jake on this channel.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know, we rock with him.
And so I know his domino theory. So what's kind of fun about that is we listened to a macroeconomist who's been talking about the reverse carry trade for 2 years, or a very long time. His name is Michael Gaid. And so whenever you go, oh, if that were to happen, and you know the relationship with Japan, then you can be like, well, then that's a use case too. And that would be, you know, that would be a trigger to start a cascading event. And then whenever you see the DTCC literally have a great collateral experiment of which they like walk through a global margin call, and they tell you this is how we would mitigate it, and then they list at the very end of those 3 things that they used, and it was XRP, XLM, and Solana. You go, what am I missing here? So that's my theory, and that's another reason why I talk about gold. I talked about silver. And I told people 5 years ago, if like it's looking like this will happen, now is the time. Stock up on silver. Silver is like at $26, $30-something, and gold was around $1,300 at the time. And I'm like, so I told people who are nervous that would listen about, you know, cryptocurrency and like gold and silver. So I made that gold silver call well in advance of that run up.
So I'm going to give you a name, and this is an interesting name. Have you ever heard of you've heard of Algorand, of course, right?
Yes.
The CEO, Stacey Warden. Have you ever looked at her LinkedIn?
I have not, no.
Oh, you got to. So what triggered this for me was she did an interview and she was like, yeah, within the next couple of years, Algorand will be top 10. And I was like, that's interesting to make that call, right? And I know they're doing a lot of different projects. And I'm like, okay. And then she said it again. So I said, well, who is she? And I went and looked at her resume. She was at the Treasury. She was at JP Morgan. She had all the connections. And then I said, hold on, this doesn't make sense. Because I even called Marvin Davis. I said, Marvin, this doesn't make sense. She never started blockchain. She wasn't like an inventor, but all of a sudden she's the CEO of Algorand. And then if you look at her credentials, it's kind of like, oh, this is a major play to put certain people in positions.
Yes.
Things. That's it, right? Like, hey, we need our trained execs on global financial policy to be in these roles over here to help govern and move this stuff forward.
Yes. So there's a lot of inline moving, especially recently. If you're looking at the headlines, you're looking at them announcing their initiative plans of rolling this system out. And they've been planning this for a very long time, and now we're here. And so succinctly, you have different levels of government and financial entities over the past few days, like just put out headline after headline, plan after plan. This is what we're doing. This is what we're using. And meetings going on. This is full steam ahead. I personally think July 4th, President Trump is going to make an announcement. And this goes with when I said to buy gold and silver.
Brooke, hold on, I got to say it. Everybody pay attention. Brooke Odyssey's going to call it. Because I've been thinking about this July 4th stuff too. Go ahead, call it. I got to hear it. Go ahead.
Well, and so this is a part of this original thesis that I had, that there's going to be the adoption of The fiat currency collapses, this rolls out and saves it. Stable coins kind of saving the day, because the dollar is really kind of the main event around the world that's happening. The world around us is what's called de-dollarizing. That just means, so the world, America's #1 export is our dollar. Governments are
another product. Can I throw this one in here?
What?
Weapons platforms, people. I've done it for years. Sorry.
That too.
Dollars and weapons platforms. We giving them away.
We are very lucrative. But so we export our currency, we export our debt, and it's the fact that the rest of the world has to use the money through the petrodollar or debt denominated in dollars that makes America strong, really. That makes our currency not collapse whenever we print the way that we do. Well, since the world is starting to not do that now we're starting to see treasuries flow back in. So if you're having more treasuries flow back onto the market, but now we have another level of this market called stable coins, and now stable coins, because of certain legislation, have to be backed by treasury bonds. Now you're also seeing other countries, like in Turkey, their currency is collapsing, massive like hyperinflation. So they're not going to stay in their currency for very long. Well, where do you think the world is going to run to? Typically it runs to the safety. So it's another play for the dollar to still be a thing. However, the dollar, the fiat currency itself, we're going into a sovereign debt crisis, into a liquidity crisis in it's my personal conviction that the fiat dollar is collapsing. Now, what would come back in behind to help a collapsing dollar? Well, historically, you start with hard money, which is gold, silver, hard things, and then you start the clippage, right? You start to get the fake stuff, you start to get fiat, and it collapses, and then you go back to the hard stuff, the metal. But now on this scene, sorry, go ahead.
That's it. And the funny thing, everybody, this has historically happened. This always happens. There hasn't been a time in current recorded history where it hasn't, even back to Rome.
So yes, so what fiat currency has survived? There's not one ever that has survived. They just all die. And what's interesting is events like World War II and events like wars, like the French Revolution is one that I like to reference a lot. You can tell that these things are happening because on a sociological level, other events are happening. And a really interesting website to kind of study up on this is, and it's, pardon my French, this is the actual website's name. It's called What the Fuck Happened in 1971.com. And it will give you chart after chart after chart of seemingly unrelated things like divorce rates and different people's poverty levels. And you see it hockey stick up after 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard overnight. And so it's why, like in France, you have Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. That was like us today saying eat the rich. The rich were getting richer, the poor were getting poorer, and there's animosity. Like that's one of the triggers that you can see that, oh, farmers with pitchforks are about to head to the castle. So
do you mind if I share that site so you can walk us through?
Well, yeah, it's just I can go ahead and share it
right now if you don't mind.
It's just, yeah, sure, go for it. It will literally just show you the effects of what fiat debt-based money does.
Is this the site? Am I on the correct site?
Yes, you're on the correct site. So whenever you see a red arrow on this site, that is depicting 1971's date, whenever Nixon took us off the gold standard. And so my screen is a little small. So I don't know what is the title to that one called?
So this one says worker pay has not kept pace with productivity since the 1970s. It's the main site. I can make it a little bigger. It's WTH happened in 1971. and then it starts to show like the real GDP, wages, and trade policies from 1947 to 2014.
I mean, it'll just be chart after chart, and you can just see what this event of going off of gold-backed money to fiat money and what that does. And so that is the actual cause of people's pain. But your professors, your politicians, they want you to blame everything else, even aliens.
Yeah, we got aliens.
For death.
Aliens. No one cares. So it's like you can see we're in 1971 and it just rips. And then it's like, yeah, that's the income growth, top 1% earners. Just kind of, wow, they shot up because they hold the assets. And it's just, ooh, okay. You don't have to dwell on it. I just wanted to drop it in the chat. So everybody, this is Brooke Odyssey. I did drop the link to this in chat. I am going to drop her TikTok in the chat to you guys as well.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, so this is why I believe what we are experiencing, another signal is that the world geopolitically, we are at a world war level type. I mean, yeah, it's like, when do historians, like we very well might already be on the other end of this. Historians might say, when did it really start? Was it this event, this event, this event? But very much we're in a global conflict. So I could see, so now we have stable coins, our bonds backing them. Now we have tokenization. So what this technology does, what blockchain and crypto really does, it solves what's called the friction of money. So now the fact that, or the reason why gold has been very hard to keep as a currency, that's a friction that's been solved because it's heavy, it's all of these things. But now through tokenization, it solves the reason why it's not a good form of money for us. But now you can tokenize anything. So now you can back currency, not just by gold, you can back it by silver. We could tokenize our national parks and land and so I think that it's possible that he announces that we are headed to a new financial system backed by a basket of assets to back our currency.
So for the average person who's not in crypto, that means their dollar is probably going to go flat to zero, or the conversion rate to a stable coin will be a third or something crazy.
No, so it's not. Well, there are winners and losers in a shift like this. I try not to keep much of my money in cash money in the bank. I like to turn it into digital assets that I invest in, or gold, silver, food. That's an investment too.
Rice, food.
Get a farm.
Water filters.
Whenever I first, because of, like I said, the people who lose in these events are people who are not prepared. We're headed to hyperinflation with food. So people start a garden. You don't have to do it all yourself. You need to have a community. Go find a farmer. If you're a gardener, go find a farmer and see what you can exchange. Start getting that network now.
Yeah. So for everybody, I'll let you know. In my area, we have this. I won't say they're farmers. So we buy our food directly. We buy a lot of chicken directly from them. And all of our vegetables directly from them. So I did have to bring up the topic. Hey, if the currency goes crap, are you going to take silver? And they were like, we'll get back to you. So, because I buy silver, I buy gold, and stuff like that. A lot of crypto, of course.
So, yeah. So holding silver and gold, now it's a way to get rich because that movement was incredible. But it's really in these events to preserve your wealth. And this is something that she's like my mentor. Her name is Lynette Zhang. Have you heard? She's been at XRP Las Vegas, but Lynette.
So I definitely need to meet her. If you're like, is your mentor, there's a couple things I need to learn.
She gave, she's an amazing woman who, she's the one who helped inspire me to start a farm, to start community, because in events like this, in the Great Depression, I grew up in Southwest Kansas, and my elders were children of the Great Depression and one of the hardest hit farming and the Dust Bowl, middle bullseye of the Dust Bowl.
I remember learning about that in elementary school when
Yes.
I was born in California, and they really harped on that part of American history.
Yeah, well, those are the people and the stories that I grew up with. So they would say we didn't have a lot, but we had enough because we had each other. And it's, you know, as hard as that was, I almost find myself today being jealous of the community that they had.
Or the simplicity? Is it the community and the simplicity?
And the simplicity, yes. I wouldn't ever want to experience that economic level, which I think, unfortunately, we are at right now, which is why I say, as much as I talk about crypto, I talk about gold, silver for the same reason. I also have a farm and a homestead as a bucket that I consider an investment, but also a blessing bucket, because it's already happening. It's been happening for years, but it's ramping up. Like years ago, with inflation, you know, people lost their job. I could now fill their freezer up with meats and give them eggs. And, you know, and so like it wasn't money, but they weren't going to the store and having to spend that. And they got quality food, you know. So fortunately or unfortunately, that farm is starting to have its use case.
Yeah.
So I think the use case for these other things are about to be very apparent.
Why do you think generationally it's kind of, this is probably going to sound harsh. Why do you think generationally academia and other entities have been like, don't worry about farming and agriculture, right? You just need to go do this. Do you think it was just to kind of push us more into the food industrial complex?
I think yes. And I think there's even more sinister plans for that. And there's global agendas for 15-minute cities that tie into, I mean, let's think about this. Now we have AI, now we have these 15-minute agenda cities. Now we have, you know, an energy crisis, and then, you know, whatever you think about climate change. So let's kind of go into the future a little bit with all this technology and this cryptocurrency digital world. Okay. I hate this part. So you walk across the street, AI camera looks at you. Oh, I can pick that up. That's FUMA. And so now that ties into, you're now tied to FedNow account, like, oh, we're going to charge her for whatever that injunction was. But now we're also going to, you know, she's going to get a ding on her social credit score. So then I want to go fly somewhere, and they go, oh, but your social credit score, now we can program your money. Your social credit score is too low. So it doesn't even matter how much money you have now, because your money is programmed to not work to buy a plane ticket if your social credit score is set too low, because you said the wrong thing, because you did the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think it's kind of going that way right now, and people don't realize it. Like, how many people do you know have been debanked? I know a guy who got debanked. Like, and it wasn't cool. They were sending him all his cash back, and he had to go to another bank and deal with that.
They can wreck your life. We have free, like, that is how they get you now.
And I started noticing how a lot of places aren't taking cash anymore. They're like, no, we're not taking cash. You're like, hold on, what? Who doesn't take cash? No, we don't do. And what gets me is people like go along with like, oh, we don't take cash, like it's dirty, right? Like, we only take credit. And I'm like, this is what we're doing?
Yep, that's all part of it. And truly, I've been trying to tell people for years, and it's here, it's on our doorstep, and good luck. We're here.
You know, you sound like Marvin. He was telling me, he was like, Zeddy, I've been trying to tell everybody, good luck to him. All right, so I got a couple questions. We're going to keep going.
Okay.
I got a couple questions because everybody's dying to know this. Everybody, trust me, they're like, okay, when's FUMA going to ask the questions? What are your top 5 cryptos? You're just your top 5.
Top 5. Okay. Of course, XRP.
Okay.
HBAR is one I've been sleeping on for years, and if I could go back and just stack that one.
Not you on HBAR. Are you serious?
Yeah. Okay, not that I love CBDCs. I think they're evil. But whenever you have Australia saying we're going to make our CBDC off of HBAR and XRP, and then you have Wyoming officially making their stable coin on Hedera, I go, what?
You know what? I'm going to show you something. I can't show it here in front of everybody. I'm going to show you something I found when it comes to the state of Wyoming and their blockchain. But everyone in the chat knows I've emailed them to them personally, but I just don't want to show it on the show. It's a little crazy. I had to talk to Lady Dev. Have you met Lady Dev?
I have, or saw, yes.
Yeah, so I had to like talk to her, like, am I crazy? And she was like, let me see this. And then she called me back, you're not crazy. But there's some interesting stuff out there. Okay, top 5, you got XRP, HBAR.
XDC, I develop on it, and I think it's a sleeping giant. It's my largest holding, probably.
Hold on. You never told me you were developing on the XDC network.
I dabble.
Can you drop a link? Can we get the link to your project, or are you just still in dev mode?
I have a project for sale, I believe, on GitHub. And when it was one that just me and another developer developed for like a trade. Yeah. So I just play around with. I do it more or less so I can understand the technology and what it's capable of. And one of my obsessions right now, I love thinking about how small to medium-sized enterprises and businesses can incorporate the technology to, be competitive and save money and be faster and cheaper. Okay. I love that. Okay, so
what you got after XDC?
XDC, or I said Ondo is like Ondo, Canton.
So hold on, you're gonna go Ondo and Canton. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, here's whenever the DTCC, I've known of Canton for a long time because I studied the DTCC and stuff that they put out. And I just thought that they were going to use that as a private, like ledger type of thing. So whenever they made that one public, I go, and I don't know how the value capture of that one is. It being a governance token, but if the DTCC is going to do it, I go, here's my money. Take it.
Man. Yeah. Okay. I got one. I got another one for you. What coin do you like the least? It could be anyone. Doesn't have to be big or small. It could be something we don't even know. What coin do you like the least?
I'm not going to say the actual one I like the least.
Why not? You gotta say it.
I won't. But my second one would be Solana. And this is what I tell people. This is because I don't do memes. I'm really boring. I'm in regulated finance. I buy the ones that I think are going to be in regulated finance. So I don't do anything else except that.
Oh, okay. So
no. So Solana is memes, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like and so, but I can't say it's not going to be a thing. The DTCC listed them in their Great Collateral project as being used to help mitigate the so-called margin call that they simulated. So I tell people that's why I tell people, and this is very interesting when the tribalism and stuff, I don't really do that. I'll tell you my bias because I'm also here to make money. And I think it's important that people just recognize their bias. I can tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of Solana because it's like the meme coin thing. I don't like meme coins. I don't really care for Solana. But you don't see me in Solana rooms going, oh, it's true garbage. No, it's a thing.
I used to slam Solana. I tell you, I used to be in other people's channels slamming it like, who would invest in a blockchain that stops every 10 minutes? You know, and I would literally use that voice. Every 10 minutes it stops, and then we got to reboot the servers, you know, and then like all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, this thing is taking off. I should have bought some.
Yeah, so, someone said Q&T. Q&T, yes. Quant, Gilbert Verdian is just a goat. And yeah, I think that Q&T is also just one of the biggest ones. Chainlink, amazing. They're being announced right and left. DTCC announced that they're going to basically be their Oracle type of level layer.
So it's kind of like the coins you like, or the blockchains, or I guess layer ones you like, are the ones that have pure use case, real financial use case, and then on top of that have been recognized formally by different government agencies.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So that works out, because that kind of goes along with your background of your you did your undergrad and you did your master's.
No, not my master's. Just obsessed. All of this education has just been obsession and interest, and so just a love of history, and really, and my brain sees patterns. I have high pattern recognition, and so, and I've been in the space for almost 6 years now, 5 years, over 5 years. And so whenever you can, you know, all of this is speculation, but so many macroeconomic or geopolitical things that are really hard to call, and like in a row, and they like just start like kind of like those dominoes or whatever, that just starts happening. You go, maybe I'm decent with this.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I wonder if that's why in academia, when they teach history, they'll teach U.S. history, and then they'll teach world history, versus do an overlay and do economic history at the same time, right?
That is how our entire school system, so I will get into this. Whenever they talk about a secular school system, I used to just think that means that they don't do God. We do that, like, don't talk about God, right? That's not what secular school really means. That's kind of what you described. You learn this over here, and you learn this in siloed things. Well, back in the day, our ancient schools would learn all the topics all at once, because everything is one. And it on a scientific level, like, and I just saw a video where everything is light, everything is vibration. So literally, color can be translated into music, and vibrations above vibrations are matter, things above things. It is that, like, and so that goes into like geometry and trigonometry, and it's all the interaction of spheres and the golden ratio. I am now learning math for fun at home, where I used to cry over my math homework, and I didn't get it. I could not understand. I struggled so hard in school. Yes, I graduated, you know, top of my class with honors in college, but I had to work in it. I struggled. I wouldn't take a math class I tried not to take much math. Now I can't stop, because literally it's this one way of seeing how everything works.
So it's kind of because you brushed up on your math skills and everything else you've seen, and you notice the patterns. You're like, oh, if this happened, this is going to go to this price. If this happened, this goes.
All that to say, all we need, it's a system. Like, people really need to start thinking in systems. So it helps you think of the crypto space, like the regulated crypto space. What finance is building is a infrastructure, a layered infrastructure, a network. And so it's actually, I'm known for talking about the network and the network effects. It's actually called Metcalfe's law.
Okay.
Metcalf, and so I actually say this is why, and I never say how high I think XRP can get. And a lot of people like to reference market cap, but I'm a person that says market cap does not matter. I've been saying, I used to get trolled for years because I would say that because of this concept. It's Metcalf's law with a layer of scarcity on top of it. So Metcalf's law is just how networks grow exponentially. So it's nodes squared. So it's exponential math with also, a layer.
Oh, keep going. Okay, I'm processing. Keep going.
Yes. So all of that to say, Metcalf's, all of this is networks. So networks within networks. So XRP is a cryptocurrency network, but it's going to be used in the financial infrastructure. It's going to be a piece of that railroad. As it's used, a little bit of XRP is burned, right?
Yep.
And so that's the supply side. And so that's within its network. But XRP also works in congruent with HBAR to create, Australia central bank digital currency. So that's another railroad on there. And so then the CBDC is going to be, sitting on top of those rails as like the car and running across it, doing its things on those rails. So that, all of that to say, Metcalf's law comes in because Metcalf's law says as those nodes, as that network gets bigger, it exponentially gets bigger.
Okay. So, and then I guess the network will get bigger with the more users you have on the network. So you unbanked, you start banking them, and I don't want to go down that path of, hey, we're going to scan your retina, you're going to fall into this new system, but you're going to have a bank account, right? And then you'll be able to participate with everybody else, so. Okay.
Yeah, that's how, but so that's what they're creating. So this system creates a network of networks of these financial rails. So these financial rails are markets themselves that as they're utilized and more utilized, the more value they are and within their protocols and stuff. So it's just,
okay.
Yeah, it grows big.
I got more questions. What does blockchain look like in 20 years? What do you think it looks like? Like, you can come at it from any perspective, but what do you think it looks like in about 20 years?
It looks like you don't know that you're using it. You're just and then the use case behind it is fully built upon. And so for example, like you'll have an app, I think, to buy your house. Whenever you buy that house and you hit, we're going to buy it. Well, the background of that is possibly XRP's or maybe XDC settles the smart contracts with that, piece of real estate that's attached to it. And then XRP settles the payment to, the realtors, if there are any. And then the blockchain,
Say that again.
If there are any.
If there are any. There'll just be a QR code on the door, people.
And so that's another thing. So that's that's the future that we're headed into. It is people are trying to analyze the crypto market and price and all of these things through the lens that they have now. And that world is gone. That is the lens of which the future is looking into, like through crypto, through blockchain, through AI. And that world is completely different, completely devoided of this one, really. And it's a little scary, right?
Yeah, I knew the dollar was toast when Bitcoin broke a dollar. And I was just like, well, there's a new world currency out here. And I'm not a Bitcoin fan, but I was like, yeah, there's a new world currency. We're gonna get toasted. I should have bought. So
I see World Be Free in here. Hi, Melissa. Hi,
hey,
that's Dip a Toe Show.
Yeah, give a shout out to Dip a Toe. Hey, Melissa, how you doing?
They're great over there.
Yeah.
So so this is another thing. I have the past week I called just people, like I call them my normie friends. Normies.
Normies.
So like I called the soccer mom or like football mom friend of mine who she like is so nice and she listens to me, but you know, also very normal. And so I'm like, hey, with all the aliens and all this other stuff, like, what are you guys saying? Like, what are you thinking? Like, and so then I also talked to a financial advisor friend of mine, and I just asked, what is the narrative in traditional finance that you weren't getting? He's like, there really is no narrative. He's like, the problem with crypto is, and it's not going to be, you know, if it's wanting to replace money. And I'm like, okay.
They don't know.
Still, people don't understand what is happening. And so it's coming very soon that they know what's happening. But
you know, there's so much we can touch on. I gotta ask this question, and we're gonna touch back on something else, and maybe we'll play a video tonight. Who knows? So I assume you have some cold storage wallets or a wallet.
I do.
Which one do you rock with? Everybody wants to know, what does Brooke rock with?
Ledger, Arculus, Descent. Those are my top three. I have like, I need to remove things off of Ledger. That's just like, that was the first one, you know, that was like that Ledger came as part of your beginner crypto kit whenever I started.
So, yeah, no, I have multiple ledgers. I have multiple Descents. And the reason why I like Ledger, I tell people, is because I can integrate it into warm storage wallet, and I can mess with DeFi and do all kind of staking and craziness with it. But I have Descent, Ledger, you know, every warm storage wallet. It's, you know, I call it crypto crack. You know, you get started on one, you start messing with a project, and you're like, oh, then you leave that. I put it like this. I had to start writing stuff down. This is sad to say. I'll give you I was messing around with the Phantom wallet. I've had some stuff on it, right? And I staked quite a bit of Sebek on it. And I was just messing around with wallets. And then and Marvin kept telling me, man, you're messing around too much. One central area, you're better. I'm like, whatever, man. Man, I lost it. I didn't even think about it until I was messing around with the address. And I was like, oh, there's some Sebek on here. I get it. Man. Yeah,
they go everywhere. Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I remember I was going to say about that. Here's something that the financial world, the crypto world, and Bitcoiners, like everyone's fighting about. They're like, you have Peter Schiff, who's like gold, and it's not Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin people saying it's Bitcoin, not gold. Then you have XRP people saying it's XRP. It's all of it. Like people or stock. You have stocks. People who buy stocks are like, I buy stocks, so I'm not going to buy crypto, and they're snooty about it. You just go, well, let's go through this. And even treasuries, this literally touches everything. Gold is going to be tokenized, you know, and so treasuries tokenized now.
Tokenized gold though, like
but that is. Do you trust XRP, the ledger? Like, this is the name of the game. It's all about ownership. Here's the thing. It's a friction of money that something like this solves. So it's going to be all of it. So I tell people who are like stocks, well, guess what? These cryptos, these blockchains are going to start help transfer. It's going to help that system flow. Like the 24/7, they just announced that the S&P
for a while.
24/7 trading. How do you think that's going to happen? That is happening on top of these blockchain and crypto projects. And then gold's going to be tokenized. So if you like gold, how about you go buy the companies that are tokenizing gold? Our government is tokenizing gold on something called Paxos. So you can, that's already happening.
Would you buy tokenized gold, or would you always take receivership?
I would always want to have I'd always want to have access to my physical gold, but that's through tokenization. I would be able to be more liquid with my physical gold. So imagine if wherever I vault my physical gold, I have to trust them. But imagine if mine is tokenized, and then I can tie it up for collateral and get a interest or get a loan off of it. or trade with it. I can fractionalize my gold digitally.
So I don't know how I feel about
better.
taking loans against digital assets yet. I get it, right? Like, oh, you don't have to pay tax because it's a loan, but
not yet.
That loan comes due, right? Eventually, those loans will come due.
Right, but this is one of the fun things about having crypto so early is the accumulation, the price accumulation that I think at least the ones that I buy will have that.
Brooke, I thought you were going to tell me the way how to get out of it. I thought you'd be like, hey, FUMA, let me tell you what you're going to do. Here, go to play. That's cool. But keep hitting us with the knowledge, man. You got it all. Keep hitting us with the knowledge.
Yeah, so it's just, we're here. We're in, that is what's happening, even geopolitically. So this technology touches, so we have something called the Triffin dilemma, which is a friction of the type of money that we have right now, which is why we need the world reserve currency. And the United States and the dollar is the world reserve currency. That's becoming not true. Now our world is moving from what's called a unipolar world, where America is at top, and we're moving to a multipolar world. So for the first time ever, would really need to be a neutral bridge currency, don't you think? Because one of my theses is on the other side of like how I could see if we do head to WW3, what system would we have on the backside? Would we have just one new world order, or because of the technology, could we have, two tiers of global leaders and their systems and things between us? So that's why I watch BRICS really, interestingly. So it's not surprising that we're going and taking over other countries. Like, it all makes sense through this lens of there is a shift because just like historical things happen, like these things always happen, our currency in the form that we have it is collapsing, and we are moving to a new one.
So. Yeah, the way I look at some of this stuff is as we centralize data and knowledge, meaning the world of knowledge is easier to get to, it's and to collaborate. And this is going to sound so grim. Governments have to be consolidated. Nobody wants to hear that part. Everybody wants their sovereignty. I get it, but sometimes in these things, governments will be consolidated in order to do a bigger expansion. So I think the next step is, and people are gonna be like, Zeddy, you're crazy, or FUMA, you're crazy, is, hey, it's going to be a thing of we got to go to the moon. We're going to have to colonize the moon, or maybe colonize Mars, maybe some asteroids, and you're still going to need a system to transfer money faster. And the fastest way to do it, now you can look this up. They've already worked on quantum communications, and we don't have to go there, but I was looking at an article that came in from NASA talking about how they've mastered quantum communications already. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But if you put everything on a unified ledger, and you got to make sure the bank accounts, for lack of a better word, accounting or is simultaneous between far distances. This is how you got to get there.
Yeah. No, so I'll get a little biblical, okay? Because my background, I like teach Sunday school, right? So we have the tower. Take you to church, just kidding. So we have the Tower of Babel in Scripture, and it's just a paragraph. It's a very interesting paragraph in Genesis, and it says they're speaking the same language, right? So let's just go over the overarching narrative. They were a group of people wanting to become like gods, and they're building this tower up to the heavens, all speaking the same language. And it said, God looked down upon them and said, if they speak the same language, they will be capable of anything. So he confused their languages and scattered them across the world. Okay, let's analyze that. So in that story, it talks about how they use a new form of making brick. That's a new technology. And they're using the same language, and they're building, and they're wanting to become like gods, immortal. That kind of sounds a lot like today. We have the global elite saying, guess what? With all the Neuralink and stuff, now we become like gods and we become immortal. And so all science and technology, what this really is siloed systems coming to, it's not that they speak the same language, but they are interoperable. So they have translators, like that's what this does. So That's what's happening. Siloed systems, like you said, are able now to come together and communicate, and the capabilities that unlocks for us is astronomical and extremely scary. So that's another thing.
So I get my scary brain is like, I'm in cybersecurity, so I'm like, here we go.
Oh, so do you code, or what language do you code in?
No, I'm a cybersecurity manager.
Well, okay, but you know, if you were to ask a coder, they'd say like, oh, what language do you code in?
They do like, I haven't done coding. I did Perl, Pascal. I have a whole bunch of old dead languages. I haven't.
You know what? Does that make sense? That you even call it a language?
Yeah,
now this language is interoperable, able to communicate with each other, and it gives us incredible capabilities that many of us have not thought about. And so, yeah, all science and technology is a bunch of siloed systems wanting to better, like, get back into one that's a singularity, right?
That's another topic. We have to have another. We gotta do another show for that one, because I got a lot of stuff to say about that. Okay, got a couple more. Actually, do you mind if I play a video?
Go for it.
Okay, so this is one thing that's interesting about the show over here. What we do is we play a lot of crypto music, and I get what's crypto music. So there's different genres. So let's do this one. So this one is Country Crypto, not Country Crypto, the song by the other group, but this is called Country No by Bitcoin Records, and they do a whole bunch of cool stuff. I'll play it, and we'll take it from here. Here we go.
Okay. Country.
I was raised where the red dirt runs upstate South. See where the big bucks come. Back porch picking and a shotgun blast. Sunday church and diesel gas. Mud on my boots, Cali's tans. Build my life without no plans. Now I'm stacking sets while I split that wood. Bitcoin buzzing like I knew it would. I'm a country no, keep it cold and clean. From the backwoods straight to the blockchain dream. South Carolina roots and a future so bold. Got a digital wallet and a heart of gold. No banks in my barn, no debt on my name. Just freedom, fire, and decentralized flame. Yeah, I'm running this code down a gravel road. Just a country boy, building up a node. Building up a node. Got a rig in the shed next to Grandpa's plow. Solar rig humming while I feed the cows. Ain't no soup in this hollow town, but I'll teach you how to flip when the market's down. Bitcoin hats and a flannel vest. Ain't trading in my boots for no silicone desk. I keep it real while they chase that cloud. Just a Carolina boy working it out. I'm a country no, keep it cold and clean. From the backwoods straight to the blockchain dream. South Carolina roots and a future so bold. Got a digital wallet and a heart of gold. No banks in my barn, no debt on my name. Just freedom, fire, and decentralized flame. Yeah, I'm running this code down a gravel road. Just a country boy, building up a node. Raising chickens while I raise the bar. Selling corn and buying coin in a mason jar. Don't need Wall Street to clear my path. Just hash rate, hay bales, and a little bit of math. I'm a country no, keep it cold and clean. From the backwoods straight to the blockchain dream. South Carolina roots and a future so bold. Got a digital wallet and a heart of gold. Well, they can't laugh, but I know what I hold. This country boy stacking more than gold. Yeah, I'm running this code down a gravel road. Just a country boy, building up a node.
right, welcome everybody. That was Country Node by Bitcoin Records. What do you
That
think?
was awesome.
I'm telling you. So you'll laugh about this. I used to go on some of my other friends' shows, right? And I like the chat. I like the talk. I love the crypto talk. But I was just fascinated by the music. So like they play Bags music, or they have this other song called Country Crypto. That's like one of my favorite songs of all time. So when I came up with the FUMA Boy'Z channel, it was originally FUMA Boy'Z was going to be Forking. So I went to a military high school called Forking Military Academy, and it's FUMA. And we had a group called FUMA Boy'Z, and the Z is for FUMA Boy'Z Eddie. But anyway,
okay.
It was going to be just to interview people who went to a military school. So then I started talking to Marvin, and he gave me some ideas, and Nina. So we started on this channel, and then we went to cryptotherapy. And then like one night I was sitting there bored. They were all out. And I was like, I don't want to do a show without them. So I was like, you know what? Let me do something. And I was like, let's start playing music. And it started out with crypto rap. And then I was playing everybody songs like XRP Bagman, Tails, Crown Chakra, all these people. And then one day it was like, hold on, Zeddy or FUMA, you like country music? Let me see if I can find some crypto music that has country in it. So I started playing. I remember the first night I played, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I was like, man, a lot of people don't know I really did country music, man. So I was like, everybody may just quit, leave my chat. So I was like, who cares? Play it. And then like certain people were like, that's fire. I was like, you like it, you know? So it was cool, man. So
I love the lyric. I'll teach you how to flip them when the charts are down with the cows.
Yeah, man. So we do all type of crypto music. Even now we're expanding into the genre of other languages, which we don't understand. So like Russian, Bulgarian, I'm serious. Like we're deep with it over here. So
I'm mad all the time.
Yeah. Like, I was trying to learn Russian the other day. I was like, so I got this Russian song going, and I'm like trying to translate it. It's like that ain't working. So
I have sang one Russian song. It's about a vacuum, I think. But,
oh, really? Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's go. Now we gotta see where we got some time. We got some time. So talk to us about farming and homesteading. That's what we really want to know. As well, we like everything you've given us. You've given us jewels. But can you tell us about some homesteading and farming?
Yeah. So we have, of course, I started it because I'm like food inflation, right? And to be a blessing. But we have goats, and we really use that for land management. And they're just so cute. But it was interesting that whenever we had the formula, like there was a formula shortage, like crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was about to ready my goats to like replace formula for
so
people.
You have goats.
We have goats and cows, and we had pig. We still have them. I guess it's in our freezer. And we like to raise them over the winter, and not do like a summer, like just because they're just nasty. They don't stink over the winter. So just, and then chickens naturally.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna give my experience. Well, my daughter's experience. We've got some chickens. She gets up first thing in the morning. She lets them out of the coop. They run around our yard in the backyard. I like them because they eat all the bugs, and I don't have to pay a sprayer. Mm-hmm. Right? So bugs are gone. You're gonna deal with chicken poo, but you'll get over that soon.
I'm never over that.
You really gotta like, if you got like something hard, it's like they don't want to poo in the grass. They want to poo on the pavement. like
chickens.
Yeah. So everybody, I'm just giving y'all experience. So I noticed my daughter, she'll feed them. They'll eat a lot of stuff out of the grass and so forth. She's hatched. She grew them, I guess. Hatched. Did she get them as baby? Yeah, she got them as baby chicks, and then kind of kept them in the house. And they got to a certain size, and we had them in the outside. Now they're outside. So she's got some baby chickens that she hatched. She had an incubator, and now she's putting those up, so they're growing up now. No. They're not bad guys when they're small. But when they get older, so
they're apparently the ancestor to the T-Rex. So
Right.
I believe it too.
So you've got chickens, right?
Uh-huh.
And you see how they run at you, like rah, rah, you know, like okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your morning like with a homestead? What is the average morning like with a homestead?
It's actually pretty easy. It's easier than a garden. You just feed the cow. Like our chickens are free range. And so really you just make sure people have water or people. They have water. Animals have water. Yeah. It's really we try to make it as like systematic and hands-off rotational and as possible.
So you collect the eggs yourself?
Yes, a bunch of us. Yes, it's a kids and all of us collect the eggs.
That's
we
awesome.
have a little. They all. Have you ever had Easter eggers? And they lay like blue, some pinks, and like I really like the green ones.
So she's got a couple green coming out, and we've got a lot of brown ones, and it's weird because they were small. Now every now and then they get like real big, and then they'll come out small again. They get real big. What is that? Is that the nutrients they're eating?
I have no idea.
I mean, she gave them lamb a couple times. Like I had lamb that night, and she was like, "I'm gonna see if they eat it." And they were going at it.
I've seen like eggs. They're just huge. We had a 3 ochre once.
Really?
Like, had 3 yolks in it.
Yeah.
We've had multiple twins, but
oh, that's awesome.
3. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was massive. I don't know how that egg didn't get stuck.
Yeah, I think I'm really with you. I think they're a part of T-Rexes. I think that's why we can't find that many dinosaur bones, because they're actually probably birds like giant chickens.
They're probably feathered, which would make a lot more sense of why they might have those 2 like talus up here, or T-Rexes. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my farm.
All right. So I got to ask you, what is your future for you in social media? Where do you want to take this?
No, I probably will peace out.
No.
Sometime.
Okay, yeah. When is your peace out time so we can have you on multiple times? Because everybody's gonna. I'm telling you what's gonna happen. You're gonna get off tonight, and I'm gonna get texts like, "Why didn't you do that last year? What's going on with you?" Like, I'm gonna get people just texting the messing at it.
So I'm really a researcher. I'm a builder. I have projects I like to help build. And so my passion is really there. I consider myself an educator, and I really started my social media channel to warn people and prepare them for now what is happening. And so it's really the home stretch of this. We're almost on the other end of that. And so after that, I don't know exactly what I can help and teach on. I know there's a whole new world to build. And so that is what I plan on doing. I work with everyone, I say everyone, but a lot of people know Optimistic Prime. Yeah. And I love her project. I really want to dive in a lot like with hers and start to do community building like that, and really give people this. So we know that this scary future that they have planned for us, and it's on our doorstep and it's coming. And I think it's beautiful that a lot of us that do know that, and like Optimistic Prime, she wants to create another option. So imagine a community, and we might have these social credit scores and stuff like that, but and you want to live a different life. You can find a community of sovereign people who grow organic, who don't want to do this or that, or have a chip or whatever that is. However, individuals want to create those communities, they can, and then there's options for people to go to all over the world. I think it's a beautiful idea. So really my future, where I see myself going, is I'm a nerd and I love to come solve and implement how companies can implement blockchain and crypto, maybe build things out for them or tie them in with protocols that can help them be competitive, and then build a parallel world to the one that they have planned for us in a way that I want to see my children grow up and live in. So
versus the dystopia like Blade Runner, right? So I get it.
Yes.
Let me do something real quick. I'm going to drop your TikTok link in here for everybody, if you don't mind. Are you good with that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I'm going to show your channel so everybody can see it. Let me show you.
Oh, I call myself Brooke Odyssey. I consider this whole kind of thing a journey, and it's an odyssey. In Odyssey, you have Cyclopses and Medusas, but you get to meet some of the coolest people along the way in this journey. And I see Melissa's one of those people, and I see Nerdy, he's another one. And I have got to meet the best people. So
awesome.
We'll
okay, everybody. On TikTok, you have Brooke Odyssey. I believe it's Graham Glam.
Yeah. Yes.
She's got some dope content, y'all. I'm gonna just say this. I gotta play music because it's the way my brain works. It'll help settle me down. Give me 2 seconds. Matter of fact, I'll do this other one. This one's pretty dope. This is by Romeo as well. So everybody, I bring the realist on the show and the best. This is Brooke Odyssey, everybody. I will tell you, she's one of the smartest people I've met out here.
Oh, thank you.
She's one of the smartest people I would. Dead serious. When I started talking to you in Vegas, I had asked a couple people. I'm like, you know her? They're like, yeah. And then when you were like, hey, follow me on TikTok, and I was like, oh crap, that's you. I was like, oh crap, that's you. We've been watching your content. Everybody, awesome. Everybody, I would tell you, follow her on TikTok. If she would grace us with her presence in the future, she's always welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Brooke, you're always welcome here. So everybody, follow her on TikTok.
That one in the car where I'm having a freak out moment because I realize what's about to happen. I'm like,
right,
guys, yeah.
Can we play it? I'll play it for you if you want.
Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, sure. We could.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it in forever.
So, like I said,
thank you.
Turn the sound on. Let's go here. Let's make sure that's there. That's this one right here.
The one where it looked over on the other side where it looks I'm in the car and there's a sunroof above me.
Oh, right here.
In a gray sweater. I remember that day.
Now, some of you probably think that I've lost my mind, and the only reason why you're watching my videos is to send it to someone to make fun of me. Good, welcome. You're welcome here too, because maybe you will actually learn something as well. You see, it's not just crypto and getting rich quick. That's not what I'm into. What I'm actually into and what I'm trying to tell you is that a digital revolution is coming, and it's going to affect every single one of you. Very soon, we will get a central bank digital currency. And what I am studying right now is how global banks, our central banks, our Federal Reserve and financial institutions are setting up and solving those problems. If you want some of my sources, you can go to the Bank of International Settlements, their innovation hub, and they also have a project report and read a bunch of their digital asset project reports about central bank digital currency. They also are inviting a bunch of these crypto companies to competitions that they're holding to help solve cross-border payment CBDC issues. And very soon, China will be implementing a central bank digital currency in which they will actually have the capacity to inflict absolute tyranny on their people. And we will very soon be getting a central bank digital currency. The person who just got nominated or confirmed to our Federal Reserve, Michael Barr, has written plenty of academic research papers on it as well. He was also an advisor for Ripple Labs, who created XRP. So those are some of the things that I look at when researching cryptos. And yes, there is a new financial system coming. And if you knew history, like the history of our Federal Reserve and Jekyll Island, and how even central banking in the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional, and they had to amend the Constitution for us to get one. You would know that this has happened before. This is just a new technology and a new way to do money that they're building. And so these buzzwords like new financial system, you hear that and you think conspiracy theory. What I'm going to show you is that there's plenty of historical context for all of this that is happening around this new technology. And so that's why I try to piece together. I go and look at the Bank of International Settlements, who they're inviting to these competitions to solve these problems. And then I go look at their digital assets, and how they're built. And I see like how like that could solve problems. So I'm not listening to someone in their basement talk about how to make me rich quick overnight. Guys, this could go to zero. I don't care. But this digital revolution is coming. So bye.
Brooke, that is awesome. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. Would you like to do a monologue? I never give anybody a monologue, but I'm going to give you a monologue. Would you like to do a monologue to close us out tonight? You can say anything you want.
Oh, yeah. I feel kind of the whole thing's been a monologue, right? Sure.
All right, I'm gonna let you rock. Let me just do this real quick.
Okay.
There you go. Rock it.
Okay. Well, the world that we knew is ending, and we are transferring into a completely new one. And we have to be ready and prepared for what that brings. And we don't have, so that we're not scared. You need to have options. I believe that a depression level type of event might come. So start your gardens, start your communities, start to get to where if food does get astronomically high, you can exchange and have plenty of food within your community and be a blessing. Financial hardships, they're going to get even more rough in the coming future, but we're all here and buying the solution, right? So that's about it.
Brooke, that was awesome. Okay, everybody. Round of applause for Brooke.
Thank you for having me.
Did the applause not work?
Oh.
There it is. Okay, everybody. We're going to do Crypto Therapy 589 at 10:30 tonight. Please log in and rock with us. Brooke, we appreciate you. And stay on the line real quick. I'm just going to close this out and we'll talk for a couple of minutes and then we'll get this moving. All right. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
God bless you all and have a good night. See you at Crypto Therapy.
Yo, you made it to the end. And that means you're officially part of the FUMA Boy'Z fam. Big thanks for watching. If you vibed with the video, smash that like button and share it on every platform you know. Twitter, IG, TikTok, even send it to your grandma. Every click helps us grow and keep bringing the... So until next time, stay real, stay curious, stay FUMA. Peace out.